Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30-plus year video game enthusiast and industry analyst. And today for November, actually, it's December, guys. It's December 1st, 2025. You know what that means. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, but it's not out yet. It says unlocks in approximately an hour, so we're not going to be playing that today, or at least during the morning show. I'll probably be playing later today, maybe even tomorrow. So, yeah, hopefully y'all had a good weekend because we have Thanksgiving, Black Friday, the weekend, Cyber Monday, which is going on right now. Hey, Ultronimus, good to see you. You know what? I usually don't like having a jacket. It's bad form. Having a jacket on the chair. But anyway, curious what you guys did. I know Friday I talked a lot about what I was playing for Thanksgiving, which was that SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide game. I'm going to talk a little bit about that here in a second. And actually, that second is now. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Unless you just don't like playing platformers, SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide is 100% a recommendation, especially for the price. I think it's $25-$30. Actually, I don't want to say that if that's not true. So let's look it up real quick. 39, which still is completely 100% reasonable. Although you could look around and get it cheaper if you shop around, but this game's great. It might be in the top 5 game of the year. I think Donkey Kong Bonanza kind of pushes it out of the way because Donkey Kong Bonanza is more of that ultimate character platformer. Titans of the Tide just follows in its path, and it's better than some Nintendo games. I tell you, I'm surprised about this. Hey, Ultronus, I was working Thanksgiving onward, winterproofing the house and reattached a door. Wow, that was a lot of work. No Rest for the Wicked. That's actually a game I've been meaning to play. It's in early access. That's why I haven't played it yet. But that's cool. Thanks, Ultronus. That's a lot of work. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is Titans of the Tides were, and over the weekend I beat it. 8 hours and 55 minutes is me beating it and going through and getting the other achievements, other side content, whatever you call it, that's going on with it. So the extra stuff to do to 100% is actually pretty fun. That's the thing. This game has a fast travel system that you can use at any time. Unlike Donkey Kong Bonanza, I think Donkey Kong Bonanza, you could fast travel to the fast travel point to then fast travel to other worlds. In SpongeBob SquarePants, you just press start, you go to a map, and it's not like you can choose. Well, each main area, there's like 4 or 5 main areas, they have their own checkpoints, so you can fast travel to any one. So if you need to go back, get the other things, which are, I've already finished them, but there's races. Sometimes I don't like it when these games do like races, like as challenges, but they're actually, I would say, not only are they more on the simple side, even though they're timed, but it's more to like show you how to get around that part of the map because you'll find out there's other hidden things to get. I think right now the main thing that I have to use a guide for, because, I guess I could sit there and try to find it on my own, but I can already tell I can't do that. There's these TVs. There's like 14 TVs hidden in the world. So there's this one area where it was a temple. Think of Water Temple. It's pretty much Water Temple from Ocarina of Time. And in this one section, giant circular room, you could press a button where all the water drains and there's areas below you can go to. There's one area that when you go down, there's still water that can kill you, even though you're SpongeBob and you're already underwater. But let's not dive into that part of it. And there's this wall. Now, on the other side of the wall is a switch. But you can only get to that by jumping from behind the wall and then doing your acrobatic floating thing to then get to the other side of the wall to hit the switch. That then opens a gate in another part of the temple that is hidden that you get to by jumping over. There's a column that goes up and down to go to the next area, but when you go on that, when it goes up, you turn around, jump onto another column to jump over a gate. Then you can use your surfboard to go and get the TV. These are the things that are there for the gamers like me that want a little more thinking, strategy, involved, like how to do puzzles. But again, if a little kid just picked it up to play, they would have fun and could possibly then get into these more advanced things. That's, I think, the way gaming should be when games are for kids, but for everybody. Anyway, it's just the other thing about the SpongeBob game is, yeah, in 7 hours or whatever, I beat it. That might seem short, but to me, that was the perfect length of time to beat a game and then want to go back and do things. Because it wasn't like I was like Donkey Kong Bonanza. There was so much that it's like, go back. Where do I start? Do I really want to go back? Whereas with the SpongeBob game, since it's a shorter game and there's not a lot of worlds, it's like, oh, mentally, I know, oh, I'll go to the water temple place to do that. Oh, I'll go here. Like, yeah, I feel like, what if Donkey Kong Bonanza had half the development cycle, half the cost, and half the size? I would prefer that over getting a huge game that takes so long to beat. And while that's happening, other games are coming out I want to play. And yeah, I don't know. Interesting little thing just to think about. But did I play other things? I did. Did I? Let me, so Mega Man X Legacy Collection, I loaded that up to play it and it just wouldn't load and it froze my computer. So I'm going to try that again later. Let's see. Cotton 100%. I think the rest of the stuff I talked about last week, did I really only spend my time playing the SpongeBob game? I think so. I wasn't really playing a lot like I normally would be. Steve would say that limitations spark creativity. When they have a smaller budget workspace, they'd have to make. Oh yeah, exactly. I've always held that. I think, yeah, Steven and I, when we talk about it, that's one thing we always agree on. It's always been like that forever. Like retro games, some of the classic games we play are so fun, and a lot of the mechanics there only exist because of the limitations in which they were made. And I think that even works with the SpongeBob game in a degree. It's like, hey, let's try to fit what we can in a smaller scoped experience. I do think Donkey Kong Bonanza is way too much stuff, and too much stuff because sometimes you are repeating the fun thing, but then it's like, okay, oh, now there's the extras where I can go back and do stuff where it's like, well, I've already been in this world for so long, I'm kind of done. So it's definitely, they could have used that in Donkey Kong Bonanza, but let's see. Yeah, is that really all I played? Yeah, I think so. I guess, yeah, just SpongeBob. Was there nothing else? I thought we played Sonic Racing, but that was on the 28th. Unless this just didn't update. Although that seemed, because there's a lot that went on. I mean, we got out the Christmas decorations. Also, my daughter and youngest and all of us went to the mall to hang around. Oh yeah, Christmas shop. There was a little bit of the Christmas shopping going on, so I think we were out doing things. Let's jump into some news. I don't know if there's really even much news. I found this one article. It would have been a huge success, the pitch behind the Sega handheld that might have rivaled the Game Boy. Sega and Nintendo were fierce hardware rivals for much of the 80s and 90s, with the latter usually being more commercially successful than the former. One contest that Nintendo won relatively comfortably was in the handheld arena. The Game Boy Portable launched in 1989, sold almost 120 million units over its lifespan. By way of comparison, Sega's Game Gear, which boasted a color display, only sold 10.62 million units. Like so many of the other Game Boy rivals, it was hamstrung by its hunger for batteries to power its display, which was also illuminated. And I will say, it's almost like nowadays with handhelds. When I had a Game Boy and Game Gear, I had the Game Boy first. It was really fun. Played a lot of games on there, but I remember thinking the same thing I thought about NES games, where they're not the best. Like Genesis had the type of games I would want to play, or SNES. The Game Gear came out, and it's interesting because I still felt like it was held back, but not as much as an NES. I was like, okay, this is almost Genesis tier. And it was shortly after that I discovered the Sega Master System, because this was still in the 90s. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. The Sega Master System is pretty much what the Game Gear is. The Game Gear is that tech. I could see why they have the games are ported, or you can have the master converter for the Genesis. And I think it was supposed to work on the Game Gear also. So the idea was you could play. I know you could play Master Systems on the Genesis. I forgot that if that was on the Game Gear or they just ported the games, because they were pretty good. The Sonic games were pretty good on the Game Gear, and like the Master System was, or like the Game Gear to the Game Boy, or the Master System to the NES. The Sega hardware was just a little more beefier, and so better colors, animation. See ya. And so I guess that just added to the experience. Not that that makes the game better, right? But anyway, the other thing I wanted to add to that is, and this is really what I was trying to get at. Most of the time I was playing the Game Gear, I was sitting at home somewhere, so I had the AC adapter plugged in. There's sometimes we went out in the car or drove around. Like, I get it, and maybe other people do this more, but when they talk about these portable games, I can think back to Game Boy and Game Gear. I wasn't playing them only when I was like out somewhere. I would be playing them comfortably at home. So anyway, going back, things might have been slightly different had Stefano Arnold, who led Brazilian Sega distributor Tectoy at the time, had his way in an exclusive interview with Time Extension. So Tectoy, Brazilian Sega distributor. So that was what was interesting about Brazil, is after the Master System came out, this company, I think Tectoy was the one that was like distributing or even manufacturing some stuff. And it was just so popular in Brazil that that's kind of like the reality Brazil has. It's the Master System and Genesis 1, and then people kept playing those. Or I don't know about Genesis, but Master System in general. Let's see. Now, I want to see where they're really getting to this, because there's a lot of text here. Let's see, the device. Okay, Arnold reasoned that if such a product could sell 500,000 units, it would cover the cost of the initial investment. So I went to talk to Randy Rissman, who is the owner of Tiger Electronics, which had excellent distribution, especially in the US. And I said, now imagine if this if this has Sega games. And he said, this looks pretty feasible. So, okay, so this is just another discussion through Tectoy to have another Game Gear like. It's funny that they did it through Tiger Electronics, who came out with I don't know, I forget the name of it. Unless it wasn't Tiger Electronics, and then I'm just gonna put Symphony of the Night. Yeah, there we go. I knew this existed. Gamecom. So that I'm thinking of two things, and they are both Tiger. One is Symphony of the Night on those little handhelds, which is funny because I had one for Ninja Turtles, maybe even Ghostbusters. Did not know there was one for Castlevania. Or at least I didn't know when I was a kid. Because I totally would have got something like that. That's so funny.
Hey, Derek, it's me, Derek.
And then this guy is playing the Gamescom. That's the name of the console that came out. And I remember this. I was like, man, I want to get one of these. But I also thought it was interesting. But wait a minute, the graphics, the colors, but then the animation looks good. So it was just an interesting thing. That's very interesting how it looks to consider when it comes to handheld games, especially from the 90s to even the 2000s. Even the Game Boy Advance had a smaller screen. And it had chunkier pixels, and some SNES games still didn't look right on there. So this looks fascinating. This might just be one day I need to play through the Symphony of the Night. I think so. That is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Ultronomus. My aunt had a Game Boy, and the only game we owned for it was that fun, weird Bomberman vs. Wario game. No, interesting. Same. By the time I got a Game Boy Color, I just used it to play in different rooms, but we also took cabs, buses around, so it was safer that way. I see. Yeah, and yeah, even thinking back, like when there was a Ren and Stimpy game on Game Boy that we would play a lot, and I just remember thinking it's like, oh, I had to memorize and jump at the right time. I even remember then feeling like, as cool as this isn't the tightest gameplay that I think is possible. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I think that's it for that. And you know what? that is it. There's just not much to talk about. I think with the Cyber Monday, the holidays, I'm going to load up something, though. What am I going to load up? So, I grabbed, let's see, let me get this back in view. On sale was Ebenezer in the Invisible World. The reason I got this, and I remember I first saw it last year, it's a Metroidvania that's Christmas themed. So it's from Christmas Carol. You play Ebenezer Scrooge, perhaps. I don't know if they take liberties with the story. But because Christmas is around the corner, and it is December 1st, I figure this is a game that I want to say that I've played. So let's do it. Okay. The air was filled with phantoms wandering hither and thither in restless haste, and moaning as they went. Every one of them wore chains like Marley's ghost. The misery with them all was clearly that they sought to interfere for good in human matters and had lost the power forever. Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol. Okay. Let's look at these options. Resolution. Wait, did that just disappear? It did. That makes no sense. Okay. Okay, I think, yeah, we don't need... All right. Let's start. I'm curious. Is Scroogevania? Yeah. I'm curious, is there Christmas music? I see the art's good. Something has gone horribly wrong. Jacob Marley allowed you to see the invisible world, and only someone such as you can help. Okay. What sort of... Oh, wow, they're talking fast. Are you familiar with... Somewhat enriched industrials, they keep themselves for the most part. Unfortunately, there is more to them than that. On with it, spirit. I haven't got all day. Tell me your story. And so I shall. Let me tell you the story of Caspar Malthus. And then it cuts off. Like, it doesn't give me time to act. The Malthus family has always resided in the shadows of London high society. A truly heartless lineage who viewed the downtrodden of London as a While such cruel machinations have always existed, with the rise of modern industry, some members of the Malthus family felt a new age was soon dawning where the solution could present itself. Driving this new rhetoric was Gaius Malthus. He seized upon the city's industrial expansion and turned their family from mere aristocracy into... Oh wait, aristocracy. No, I think it's aristocracy. Aristocracy. He offered those workers horrid conditions and little pay in exchange for their back-breaking labor. All the while he planned... However, cruelty is a flame that burns one's candle twice as fast. Gaius died suddenly, and I dare say we are all of us the better for it. We are all of us the better for it. English. It is my first. With the death of the Malthus family, patriarch command of their empire fell to Caspar Malthus, his only surviving son. Caspar was a dear friend from my mortal youth who I remembered as a happy and joyous boy who loved the world around him. I hope that he would choose to take the Malthus family in a new direction. Unfortunately, I was wrong. Working conditions worsened and the cruelty of the Malthus family continued. However, I refused to believe that Caspar had gone so far down this path that he could not be redeemed. It was 1 year ago tonight, Christmas Eve, that I paid Caspar a visit. I appeared before Caspar, much like Jacob Marley appeared before you, and warned him that the heavy chains forged from his own cruelty would condemn his spirit forever. To avoid his fate, he would need to set himself on a path to redemption. Barely gave me time to read that. It should come as no surprise to you, Ebenezer, that Caspar was also visited by 3 Christmas spirits that night. Each in turn showed him memories of his past, scenes from his present, and events from his potential future. all with the purpose to put him on his better path. But of all the images that Caspar was shown that night, it was the ghost of Christmas yet to come that had the most profound effect. Caspar was shown a decrepit old man locked in his study and resting on the mountainous deuterides, I don't think I've used, failed designs and concepts, refused little floors, creating an extraordinary, unpleasant, blah, blah. Caspar could feel that vast emptiness within the massive halls of the man's home and knew he had been alone for a long time. Whoever he once was, he now only existed as the architect of some obsessive project. It was then that Caspar began to recognize the room. The portraits and books on the wall and the familial features on the old man's haggard face. He was gazing at the visage of his future self. But the ghost of Christmas yet to come hadn't brought Caspar here to simply gaze upon the man he would become, but to witness the man's ultimate triumph. Caspar had achieved the Malthus family dream. Whether it was a power source, engine, or some infernal mechanism, I cannot say, but I do know it was the catalyst. In the midst of the old man's jubilation, the ghost of Christmas yet to come raised his finger and pointed at his frail future visage, not wanting Caspar to miss a moment of what came next. Visage or visage? Okay. The old man's cries of exultation would be his last. This moment of excitement after decades of despair and neglect were too much for his own worn heart. Caspar watched his future self begin to die before his eyes. Caspar's eyes soon withdrew from the old man. He watched instead the device, the culmination of his life's work, his family's dreams, fall from withered hand and shattered on the floor. At that moment, Caspar and his future self both saw that everything they had spent their life pursuing, every sacrifice or cruel and heartless act, would all amount to nothing. They would die alone, unloved, and forgotten. Okay. With that, Caspar was returned to his own time in a state that I perceived to mean he had been profoundly changed by the ordeal. I left him then so that he could contemplate what he had just witnessed. I felt confident that he would see the lonely path his life was on and make the... Okay. Very inconsistent with this. However, what I did not foresee was that there would be another visitor that night, one who did not want to change Malthus' path. A dark spirit emerged from the shadows and confronted Caspar, laughing at the silly images the Christmas spirits had shown him. Caspar pled to the horrifying intruder that he did not want to meet the same fate that he witnessed this night. The dark spirit smiled and reminded him he had only been shown a possible future, one that now need not transpire. He told Caspar that the Christmas spirits had curiously presented a new opportunity for the Malthus family. Caspar had been allowed to observe the workings of the old man's future device. With this knowledge, he could recreate it in the present. So we're talking about advanced technology here that's being shared through time. He was told he could help create the world that his family had always wanted. He need only be strong enough to put aside... With that, Caspar turned his back on a better path. A year hence, and he is almost finished using this unnaturally gained knowledge to bring himself to the precipice of his family's ultimate dream, to crush the poor workers of the city under the gears of industrial progress. That's pretty dark. Yet, despite all this, I remember my old boyhood friend Caspar, and I cannot bring myself to believe that he is beyond the hope of redemption. Eric, you know my story. I need a mortal to help my old friend find redemption before he is beyond salvation. The Christmas spirits will not come to my aid a second time. It is up to you to find the pieces of Caspar's past, present, future, and convince him to choose a better path. Wow. What a story. If there is a path of redemption, Caspar, that is all well and good, but even if you knew Caspar Malthus once as a good man, that was some time ago. How can you be sure that such a person still exists? I confess I am not well informed on the metamorphosis that transpired within him. It is imperative that we unravel how he became the man he is today. Caspar kept a journal in the London Observatory, secreted away from the prying eyes of his father. If that journal is still there, it may help us understand how he drifted so far from how I remember him. Gallivanting, there we go, about his spirit's lackey was not how I intended to spend my holidays, but I suppose in all fairness, I too was once a man that had lost his way. It took the esteemed presence of my dear friend Jacob Marley to set me straight. Interesting, so this is like the future of the Christmas Carol. Very well, spirit, I will find Caspar's journal. Thank you, Ebenezer. You must exercise the utmost caution. Tonight, Casper has already put in motion his plan to displace the workers of London. Workers are protesting. Soon there will be a standoff between the protesters and the Malthus private guard. The guard has been deployed to patrol the streets, no doubt, eager to showcase their mettle to anyone sympathetic towards the plight of the workers. So amidst the cacophony of mounting chaos, you expect me to venture into a whirlwind of further disorder and confusion? I must say, Spirit, your timing couldn't be more inconvenient. Can't believe I read all that, but yeah, Ultronimus, I'm with you. I'm on board for the story. So from what I gather, this is like a sequel. It's almost like Indiana Jones, except Ebenezer Scrooge. Because it's not like it's continuing like some issue he had. It's more of like what Ebenezer has learned he can now pass on to others. An old Pemberley Gazette with the headline, Industrial Caspar Malthus promises the dawn of a new age for London. And like it almost seems like it's being political, but I don't think it is. I think the story is to allow minions to fight in the form of guards. You know, the be careful outside, sir. There have been protests recently here in London, and they have become quite dangerous. Thank you. Thank you, Alfred. I need to get to the Batcave. That's what it seems like. Okay, so the Christmas tree's up there. Can I go up there? No, what is there? Okay, in motion, the art looks way better than even the screenshots. Fezziwig, how pleasant to see the bright face of my former employer. Hello, Ebenezer. I've made such. I'm here to provide assistance as you advance in your quest. So he's like his friend that's dead, and it's a ghost, and he's helping him. Press to access the map. Okay. Love it. We've got a map. Look at this. We've got the Metroidvania map, but it's Christmas themed. Okay, so that goes back to my... Okay, there we go. Go to the workers' strike near London. Okay, I like the quest setup thing. Look at the people walking in the foreground. I love that because it's like Christmas. Oh, I just killed the snowman. Wow, look at all the people. I like the vibe this game's giving off. Like, even when you see on YouTube those videos that are like chill in a cafe while listening to music, that's like what the background here looks like. Look at all the people. Even in the top right next to my face, there's people hanging out. Oh, it's Tiny Tim.
Hurrah, Ebenezer, it is Christmas time again. Thank you for your kindness this year. You have truly changed.
I'm not going to do that the whole time. So I like that. It's adding on as a sequel to A Christmas Carol where everyone's like, yeah, Ebenezer is a cool guy now. Okay, I can hit boxes to get fruit. Ooh, right stick up and down will change LB will use. I like that. So many in the city are in want of work, without a penny to their name. How soon will it be before they perish of hunger? Wow, look at the train. Okay, so I turned off VSync, but I actually need it. Sometimes you don't need it in certain games. Wait, what? I went to exit instead of just okay, let me double check. Okay, it's enabled. But where am I now? I'm in now a whole different place. Okay, can't, but that's to go to an asylum, so probably don't need to go there. All right. Oh, okay, here we go. So the castle's right here. Oh, just like Castlevania, you can hit and get money? I guess sometimes. Yep, there we go. Okay, the VSync didn't seem to do anything. There is a stutter. You guys probably don't see it. It probably has to do with my refresh rate on my monitor. Mashed potatoes have been found. Okay. Give us back our jobs. Oh, here we go. Ebenezer, that protester just ahead is in peril and requires aid. Can you intercede on my behalf? Okay, here's some combat. Please don't, I surrender. You there, seize your unwarranted assault on that man in this instant. Yes, he may have committed his fair share of transgressions, but he has clearly surrendered himself, hasn't he? You and your friends are not but the surplus population. Accept your fate, you pitiable wolf swine. Dang. Holy. Well, you're next, codger. Cool, I got a backdash, just like Castlevania. Okay, sounds odd. It sounds like you're popping bubbles when attacking. Oh, dude, look at that. That was a one of those plague doctors. Let me help you home. No, I'll be fine. You need to find safe haven for war aggressors as well as. Okay, he's just not with the mouth. He's hunting anyone involved in the protests. Now they'll come for you too. All right. Okay. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, I guess the ghost can't do anything, so that's why Ebenezer has to do it. Oh, but I select attack ghost with what? The game's text goes by too fast. Inspired by hitting enemies with the cane. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Okay, let's try this up here. Maybe there's some bad guys. Always had a feeling there was something going on strange. We never proved it's a dangerous place now. In any case, you stay away from your. Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. Got a turkey. So this is very much Castlevania in that way. Ooh. Okay. Was that ghost? Now I could like go down here. Let's look at the map. Wow. Okay. Like, I don't know if this is safe, but... What? Oh. Oh, okay. Does that mean he's dead? Do you not really kill people in this? Except if they're ghosts? No, I don't... Okay, can't go in here. I knew that was going to happen if I wanted to wander off. Now I'm curious about the, Oh, it's not here anymore? So I wonder if this does the souls thing that when you, Wait. For a second there, it's like I had to double jump. When you die, you have to start over again. I'm just going to go the normal way here. And you know what? It is 8:33, so I have to leave soon. So I'm going to see if I find a save point. Forgive my intrusion. You do not need to apologize, Fezziwig. You are a great help. Continue. Oh, if you continue right, you will find a save room. A save room is where you can save progress and replenish your health and spirit. Look for a sign with the feather pen. Every save room has this sign nearby. Thank you, Fezziwig. I've lived here all my life and didn't know that. What I like about that too is, even though it is indicated on the map, I like that there is a sign outside, because sometimes I'm traveling in a Metroidvania, I don't want to have to pull up the map every second. Okay. Now, it does use the left thumbstick as the art for what to do, but you can use a D-pad. I like you save it. There's the Christmas wreaths here, even a little desk I can sit at and some music. So this game has a cool vibe. All right, guys. I'm going to head out, but this is my December game. My plan is to have this completed by Christmas. And you know me with story, and I got a stand. Dude, Ultronymous. I did not even realize that. Of course. I wonder if that's what this is going to be like. It's pretty much Christmas Carol sequel with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm going to head out. I'll be back tomorrow with some more. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Until then, be cool. See ya.